shit. Yeah. Did I leave my doors open? Huh. Hello. Let me, buddy. Let me, buddy, connect that. And push play.
Oh yeah.
And what YouTube.
I don't think so. No, I would have noticed. If I went 7 years and didn't notice. I don't know. Parachute. Oh. That could have been really bad, but it wasn't. Alright, awesome. Let's go meet some people. Who's that shooting?
Oh shit.
Was that him? No, it's not. I don't know.
Let me, buddy, my
I'm
joint.
literally in the middle of a gunfight.
You're supposed
I
to lead.
thought that that'd be okay. Oh, awesome. I'm like one shot. Oh my gosh, that's not good. I'm being nice. I'm being nice to the viewers. Some people get mad, even though the majority don't care. Some get mad, so be happy. Be happy. Be happy. That dude's modding or lagging. Yep. That dude's modding or lagging. Okay. What was his name? That we can't shoot. I don't know. Figure it out. That's your mission, soldier. This guy was dancing in the middle of like nothing. I just shot him. Nope. That dude's gone. I hit him. There we go. Drop him. He's player 53 for me. Yeah, he just spawned a car. I have their actual names. Player 53. So. Yeah, alright. Player 53. It's under back, I think. Player 53. And he's gone. Did you kick him? Yep. Am I blind or blind? Blind. Probably. Oh, there he is. He's in the parking lot.
Let's play Raid Shadow Legends. Start now for free.
Fucking Ed.
Nice shot! Dropped him! Got triple food! Clappy! Let's make it a three. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Turns into a lobby war. I'm gonna steal a random card. Wow, good shot, man. When you turn off mod, when you turn off God mode. Yeah, totally, man. I get this card. Thank you. Sport mode, we out. We got 3 people shooting at you. Oh, that's you. I was gonna shoot. I think someone froze me. Oh, that's cute, man. Yep, someone kicked me. Are you serious? Alright, I think that's where we ended today, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. Once again, I just want to say congratulations to Jaco for hitting 1K subs. I also want to thank you guys for all the support we've had in this channel, especially with this series. We're pushing 5K subs, so thank you guys so much for always just showing support.
You sound familiar.
Yeah, I've been around here for a long time, so, you know, there might be some legends of Shirk going around.
Dude, check it out. Look what you taught me how to do. Do not fire the weapon.
Whoa, you taught him how to shoot a gun. Whoa.
Look what you did.
Why would you teach him how to do that? This guy's a serial killer.
Really familiar.
You sound really familiar. I just can't put my finger on it, though.
I want to be a CT.
Yeah, you should let them become CTs instead of trying to reminisce about the past of who I might be or who I'm going to be in the future. You guys did it!
Yo, Shrek, you actually does kind of sound familiar. I've never been on the server, but you actually do sound familiar.
Oh, that's so weird.
Wait a second.
God, I wonder where you guys know me
Sergeant.
from. God.
Pixel Cat. Guys, that's Shrek.
Thank you! Pixel Cat, what kind of name is that? That sounds like the name of somebody that fucking hates their kid. Is that a Christmas tree hat? Isn't that a little out of season at this point?
Oh, wow.
You should have like a heart hat. It's Valentine's Day now. Do you have a cute little Valentine?
He does have a girlfriend.
Oh, I'm sorry.
To be fair, I have no friends.
Is that why you're standing all alone over here?
Yes.
Why don't people want to be your friend? I want to give you a chance, but I feel like I don't know you well enough yet.
Because I
isolate myself in Right Bridge and play roleplay games.
I would love to play roleplay games with you.
You wanna play role game?
We
Let's go,
should play
come on
Dungeons
then.
and
Come on.
Dragons!
Yeah, let's play D&D on Right Bridge.
I'm gonna be a goblin warlock.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna be a paladin kobold.
Whoa!
I'm gonna be a knight in shiny armor.
Whoa, nobody said you're gonna play with us.
Bitch, what?
Excuse us, we're going to play Dungeons and Dragons. We're coming through here.
Dungeons and Dragons. Let's go play some Dungeons.
This door, is that a door even? That giant rectangle?
The hanger.
That hanger, are we protecting it?
Fortunate, because that door is locked and we don't have the equipment to get through there.
Shit, that's not good. Hey, the fog let up. I'm not colorblind anymore. Guys, I think we're under attack. Everyone watch out.
Think we're under attack?
I do think we're under attack. I'm not very good at combat.
Hey, stop shooting at them. What? God, are you just watching us fight?
I don't like to fight. I'm not very good at it. Whoa, what's this all about? Man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find the others. I feel all alone out here in this barren, snowy wasteland.
Cal, buddy, are you okay, Cal?
Yeah, I got hurt from a prop over there. It made me fly off into the air.
Take your helmet off.
How? I forgot how. It's been so long.
I'm kidding. I'll take you back, buddy.
Alright, I'm back at the bunker.
Oh, hey, Cal.
Oh, hey. Hey, we got the door open. How did we accomplish that?
We're amazing. That's how, Cal.
Damn. Who would have thought?
Yeah, just by our pure...
Taking a company on back.
shit, that guy died.
Well, he wasn't very amazing then, was he?
Come on, Cal, you can make the jump.
Cal,
Isn't even that hard.
It's kind of hard.
Come on, Cal. There's a ladder.
I made it up, though. I don't need no stupid ladder.
No, Cal, not yet.
Oh, no. Oh, we weren't supposed to enter yet. That makes sense. Wait, we only wanted one guy?
Hey, shoot me. Shoot me.
Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him.
I won't.
Back away. SC, don't follow us.
Wait, what else do we want to do? Ah!
We gotta leave, Cal. We gotta leave.
Wait, they said to not follow them.
Oh, move, trooper.
Can I take that second seat?
Absolutely, hop on.
What do you call this invention?
My white rocket.
Why white, though?
I mean, I can make it black if you'd like. Or any other color.
Yeah, I'd like to see it black. Is it a bigger model?
Oh, it's gigantic.
Oh, I really want to see it now. Where are we going anyway?
Getting back from the base, about to blow up.
What are these guys doing? What's up? Am I allowed to be in this tent or not?
No, you're not.
I can't understand anything you're saying.
Alright, come here real quick.
I think you wanted me?
If you head that way, then you'll get with the rest of the ground forces. Go that way.
Can someone translate? What did that guy say?
Head down that path, right?
We just blew up the base and I got brought back here though. They said we're returning. Is this a no west?
No, go away. Like, no, don't. What is this? No. Too big, though.
One of the most common questions I'm asked about the oldest Anarchy server in Minecraft is whether or not it was better in the old days. 2B2T as a server has become so infamous that it has its own Wikipedia article. It's hard to find Minecraft players that haven't at least heard of it before. Starting in 2016, YouTube's influence on the server changed it forever. Was the server truly better before its widespread fame? As someone who was a 2B2T player long before becoming a YouTuber, I feel I can offer a unique perspective on this. The truth is that the old 2B2T and the modern one are so vastly different in certain ways that it's difficult to compare the two. Like comparing apples to oranges or melons to kelp. So instead, I've compiled a list of ways the old 2B2T was better, and also a few ways it was actually worse. This is going to be an interesting video to say the least. Before we get started today, I see a lot of YouTubers just starting out and making 2B2T content, and that's great. But all I see is uncut footage with a music track over it. No editing at all. If you're new to editing and are looking for an easy solution, Filmora is your best bet. It is the best entry-level editing software available. Personally, I've been video editing for 15 years and can say that easily upload your video.
Yeah,
Filmora for yourself. I've left a link.
Fast forward.
Pretty obvious.
Fast
Become
forward.
almost as 30 during peak hours.
Oh, okay,
There was no
okay. Go back.
attempting to join the server. With that being said, let's begin. The first reason the old 2B2T was better is pretty obvious. No queue. Players attempting to join the server for the first time these days often find themselves waiting long periods of time just to get in. The queue has become almost as famous as the server itself. In the first 6 years of 2B2T's lifespan, there was no queue. Since the average player count rarely went above 20 or 30 during peak hours, there was no reason to have one. You could log in at any time of day and just play, like a normal Minecraft server. 0-0 was actually safe. In the old days, Spawn itself was only dangerous if you were a new player trying to escape. If you were fully established, it was pretty common to be able to explore Spawn without fear of being attacked. Even if you were attacked, because 1.8 PvP and below didn't have end crystal combat, all it took was a few ender pearls to escape your opponent if you didn't feel like fighting. 0-0 was a great place to meet fellow travelers, swap stories, and even begin to recruit for groups to test the trustworthiness of people. In fact, hanging out at 0-0 is how I became friends with many of my eventual base mates on the server, and is what allowed me to get into larger group bases such as Asgard 2. Of course, it wasn't completely safe, especially during times like incursions, but it was overall much safer in the old days. Nowadays, just standing at 0-0 is pretty risky, as you'll always have someone trying to kill you, even if you're fully geared, such as life on a modern-day Anarchy server. Before YouTube, 2B2T's community was never very big. It was always a niche. The active player base on a day-to-day basis was small enough that you would easily recognize the majority of the names online. It was easier to get to know people and establish friendships. This tightly knit community also made it easier to blacklist griefers and troublemakers from social circles. And if you were a griefer, it was easier to find people that had the same mindset as you, though griefing groups usually ended up betraying each other given enough time. Having a tightly knit community, however, was a double-edged sword, but I'll talk about that later in the video. 2B2T used to have a party chat feature, where you could chat in-game with your allies. You have to remember that in the early to mid-2010s, things like Discord didn't exist yet, and there was no truly dedicated place for 2B2T players to communicate and coordinate, so party chat made it way easier.
Oh yeah, I have forgot. Today's Friday and tomorrow's Saturday. So nice, I guess it's time to go to bed and wake up in the morning. Look at this place. It's beautiful. England is. York is beautiful. Oh hell yeah. I guess it's time to go to bed. Oh shit. Let me connect again. Push play. There.
In public. You just had to make sure that everyone involved knew how to use it properly, and many groups had a rule that you weren't allowed to type coordinates of any kind in party chat, because mistyping the command would mean leaking coordinates to the whole server. Overall, party chat was a fun feature that made communication more meaningful without reliance on external applications. I wish the server's admin, Housemaster, would bring it back. In modern 2B2T, anything that gets built less than 100,000 blocks away from spawn usually gets found after a few months. This is because there are just so many players traveling through the overworld at any given time. In the old days, because the active player base was so small, bases could last long without being found and destroyed just by travelers. you an idea of how safe things used to be, I had an underground spawn bunker that I would frequent whenever I was in the spawn region. I used it to re-equip myself during my spawn escapades. It lasted from 2013 all the way up to the YouTube invasion in 2016 without being griefed. How far away from spawn was it? 4,000 blocks. It lasted 3 years underground, only 4,000 blocks away from spawn. Something like this would never last that long in modern day 2v2T. The days of being able to hide bases so close to spawn are now long gone. So now that I've told you some of the things that I miss about the old 2v2T, let me tell you about the things that I don't miss about it. Because old 2v2T was actually awful in quite a few ways. But if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We just hit 700,000 subscribers this week, so thank you for your continued support. Now then, one aspect of the old 2v2T that I don't miss was the server's instability.
Let's play Raid Shadow Legends.
Right,
Start now for free.
Okay.
While the queue today is seen as an annoyance, it is used to generate funds to pay for the expensive hardware the server runs on. Originally, Housemaster relied on player donations to keep the server running. The overall cost came to about $90 a month.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people would play on the server at any given time, there was no reason to have more powerful hardware. Plus, at this point, the map file size was still measured in gigabytes, not terabytes, so cost-wise it was still manageable. But if there was an issue with the server, it would often take weeks to fix. I remember specifically back in 2014, there was a good 4-week period where the server was lagging and rubber banding so badly that it was essentially unplayable, even with only a handful of players online. It was rough. It wasn't uncommon to see the server's player count at 1 or even 0 when these issues sprang up. There would also be times where the server just wasn't online for days at a time. It was occurrences like this that kept 2v2T's player base small. You can't grow your player base when your server is broken half the time. The overall gameplay experience of today's 2v2T is far better than what it was in the old days. Before 2v2T was known as the oldest Anarchy server in Minecraft, it was simply known as the world's worst Minecraft server. You didn't stumble upon this place by accident. You had to go out of your way looking for it. 2v2T was the server you played on when no other server would take you. Because of its history being rooted in 4chan culture, it attracted an incredibly toxic group of people that would often take acts too far. Now, I'm not going to name names, but allow me to tell you some of the awful things that happened during this era. Player doxings were rampant if you didn't have your personal info on lockdown. A prominent female 2v2T player became the target of harassment to the point where someone showed up at her house, took a picture of her front door, and then sent it to her in-game, threatening her. Another 2v2T player was harassed at his place of employment once his info was discovered. That's only the tip of the iceberg. I'm not going to delve further into it, but that should give you an idea of how toxic players were in the old days. The YouTube invasion meant an influx of players, but many of them were far less toxic than the old player base, effectively driving many of the bad apples away. Now, something that gets taken for granted by the modern player base is the vast highway systems that have been built by players all across the server. Modern-day 2v2T has numerous groups dedicated to building and maintaining roads, making travel far easier. In the old days, this infrastructure didn't really exist. Getting to a distant location on the server meant having to dig a tunnel in the nether by yourself. The major access highways didn't go as far as they do today. Plus, there were no Elytra or Entity speed hacks in the early days, so travel took a very long time. The mass influx of players because of YouTube ended up creating great amounts of infrastructure that still benefit the server to this day. I know I've only listed a few things in this video today, but overall, was old 2v2T better? Like I said, it was better in some ways and worse in others. But the true Anarchy experience it provides has remained unchanged since day one. it is still the Minecraft server with no rules and complete freedom. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram to stay updated on when new content is coming out. That's it for today, everyone. Take it easy and stay alive out there, Fit Fam.
I know as you click on this video, for anyone who's played 2B2T before, or any of the regular players, you guys are probably really annoyed at the title, and you guys already dislike me more than you guys already dislike me. So for context, if you guys haven't played 2B2T before, I messed up my words there. Basically, 2B2T is a server that has been online since basically, I think it was like 2010. I think that's when it went live. It's one of like the first ever servers, and it's never had rules. Obviously, they have like limitations and stuff like that, so plugins, so it can always stay up. But other than that, it hasn't had any bans or anything to do with the server itself. It's a big meme, but this is the oldest Anarchy server in Minecraft, and it has a reputation for having some of the most toxic players in the entirety of Minecraft. So since loading it for the first time, I've always had this mindset that, okay, am I just gonna let these people always come at me and comment on my videos that I'm a new player, they don't like me, I'm a YouTuber, they don't like me for that reason, they don't get to know me at all, they don't know who I am, and all they care about is the server and their loot and their bases, right? Well, this time, I want to see how much time I could waste of the other players in the server. And boy, oh boy, did I do a lot better job than I thought. So at first, the original plan was to start with one base and see how I can affect the community. And before I explain anything else, make sure you guys stick all the way to the end of the video, because I have like a small announcement or just kind of leak to my next video that if you're a 2B2T player, you will not like, and if you are a viewer, you may enjoy. But basically, to start with how I came up with this whole idea was I start off with the simple question, what gets the 2B2T community going, and what gets them motivated to actually get them to do what I want? Now, this is that reverse, like just the reverse manipulation type situation. I had the idea to create a fake base and leak it in the video, make it so that the top comment on that video was the coordinates of the base, and then also have one of my friends take a screenshot of the coordinates and post that I leaked my coordinates on the 2B2T Reddit, where all the 2B2T players obviously are on, and where it eventually ended up getting over 1,600 upvotes and was the most upvoted post on the
diary. Go fuck yourself. My name is Sydney. I'm a boring 17-year-old white girl. I'm not special. Yippee. Might help with your moods. I keep losing my temper. I don't want to, but it just spills out. Hey, Sid. Hey, Stanley Barber. He lives down the street from me.
shoes. Hey, Dom.
My best friend is Dina. She's dating golden boy Bradley Lewis.
Do you ever smile?
Anyway, my dad died last spring. And now everything's so different. Dear diary, when does this get easier? It's probably just puberty. I think there might be something wrong with me. I just feel different lately. Everybody feels like a freak sometimes. Yeah, I guess. Oh, God. Dear diary, what the hell is going on with me?
You can tell me anything. You know that, right?
I want you to attempt to have a normal high school experience.
What a world we live in, Sydney. Holy shit.
What's he doing? Just wait.
Oh shit. I can't wait until I go back to Hollywood. Oh man, I can't wait. Hopefully it will be soon, because you know what, I want to go back to Hollywood. I want to live there again. I miss Hollywood. What? Oh, I miss Hollywood. Like, oh man, I miss Hollywood.
Some kind of nuclear war was inevitable, people started crowding into these giant underground shelters known as vaults. For the government and the people living inside them, they were supposed to be a lifeline for the future, mankind's ability to return to the surface and repopulate and thrive after the radiation in the air finally began to dissipate. The vaults were safe, secure, and never meant to fail, but as fans of the series know, that wasn't quite the case. What was actually going on was that Vault Tech, the guys who built all the vaults, were using the vaults to test different survival scenarios for the ones actually in charge of the project, a conspiracy of businessmen and government officials known as the Enclave, who were presumably planning on going into space or something like that. So, vaults opened early, or they were missing necessary supplies or had key systems break early, just to see how the vault dwellers inside would respond. Most vaults actually failed miserably, and today we're talking about the absolute worst ones in the 10 Fallout vaults that made people crazy. Could be people inside, could be you, the player, either way, there's plenty of craziness going around in this one. And starting off at number 10, it's Fallout New Vegas' Vault 22. Probably one of the most unique vaults in a Fallout game. It's, well, the Plant Vault. It's a pretty unique site compared to the rest of the Mojave Wasteland, and that's for sure. The actual goal of the vault, however, isn't nearly as sinister as many of the others. It was meant to be a green vault, one that would be sustained by plants, so actually useful survival research for once. Of course, if you look at the state of the place, it's pretty obvious things didn't go exactly to plan. The mad scientists at Big MT donated some spores meant for pest control, but, well, plant monsters. The pest control was a little too effective because everyone in the vault was killed by them, leaving the shambling monsters in their place to wander the overgrown halls of what ended up just being another failed vault. It's not exactly madness-inducing, but it's pretty crazy and unique as far as vaults go. Number 9 is Fallout 3's Vault 92, probably one of the creepiest and most mysterious vaults in the entire series. This vault contains some of the world's best musicians, and you can even find a recording studio in there. It doesn't take much investigating to find that something went horribly wrong in there as well, though, as mysterious notes referencing a white noise used to plant suggestions in people's head. I mean, you can find them all over the place. Another log shows someone's mental deterioration. As the days go by, their spelling and grammar just get worse and worse. And when you find the Overseer's terminal, it becomes clear what was happening in the vault. They were playing a tone all the time that would affect people's behavior in order to see if they could create mind-controlled super soldiers. There's even one log where he admits to planting a suggestion in someone to just go berserk, and it took 20 security guards to take the guy down. So you could probably see where the things devolve from here. This rage suggestion begins to spread uncontrollably, and the infected fight the uninfected. Some try to escape, some stay. But obviously, when you arrive, there's nothing but skeletons and mirelurks. For being one of the most immersive vaults, with an interesting and creepy mystery surrounding it, this vault definitely belongs on the list. Moving on to number 8 in Fallout 4 Vault 75, the Children's Vault. This place, located below the cloud. At number 6 is Fallout New Vegas' Vault 11. There's a bit of a bitter irony about Vault 11 that's both tragic and darkly hilarious. It's maybe the most interesting vault in the entire series just by story alone. There's no interesting enemies or weird twists in the vault, like that drugs you when you enter, or jumps out from you in the shadows. Just a lot of logs to read, and a lot of exploration to do. The first thing that becomes immediately clear is that people in this vault really don't want to be Overseer. Then you find out about the yearly elections, where people are elected by the community for Overseer, but they only pick people they don't like. As you soon find out, that's because the Overseer has to, at the end of their year-long term, be sacrificed in order for the vault to survive. If no one is sacrificed, they're told everyone in the vault will die. Different voting blocks begin to form, and people in the vault viciously fight for control over who gets to decide who gets sacrificed. Things start to get really ugly and people start killing each other, and that's the end of the vault. But if you explore the Overseer's office, you'll find one last cruel twist of the knife. You go down the Hall of Sacrifice to see what happens. It leads to a room that instructs you to sit. After some hollow words about living a good life, the walls begin to move to reveal a battery of turrets and robots that'll easily overwhelm you if you continue sitting down. Fight them off, access the computer, and you'll find out the ironic twist. Nothing would have happened if the vault refused to perform the sacrifice. Instead, a little automated message would play congratulating them for their commitment to human life. Another happy Fallout ending, eh?
Wait. People should know what happened. They could learn from it. If there's anyone out there at all, I hope they never have to find out. Ready, Harry? No, wait!
And at number 5 is Fallout 4's Far Harbor with Vault 118. This vault, built underneath the Cliff's Edge Hotel, was going to be a pressure cooker where working-class families would be stuffed into an unfinished second wing of the vault, while 10 super-rich families would occupy the first vault and be tended to by robot servants. Classic vault setup, right? Fully on class lines. The problem, I guess, that never actually happened. Instead, some specific families bought out the vault, and when it reached a snag securing funding, they used it for their own purposes. What purpose, might you ask?